This film was so much fun. Honestly, it's going to go down as one of my favorite Nick Cage films. And,
Awesome. Thank you.
it's an honor speaking with you. I kind of feel like Javi at the beginning of the film. Now, first off, this character Tom created, it seems to be a combination of all your characters that you played over the years. What was the most interesting thing about becoming this Nick? And are there some similarities between you and him?
So it was probably the most daunting challenge I've ever had in 43 years of my life in filmmaking. I was terrified. I was worried that it would lapse into a kind of a Andy Samberg SNL mockery, lapse into caricature. However, Tom Gormican wrote me a note, and it was an intelligent letter. It was a sensitive letter. I could tell he was a genuine film enthusiast and had interest in some of the early work, and that he wanted to tell a story about people. But, he also felt that the best so-called Nick Cage is neurotic Nick Cage or anxiety-filled Nick Cage. That's where the comedy is. And I would say, well, that's not really me because it doesn't matter. I said, well, I spent a lot of time with my cat reading books, but that's not funny. Right. So what I wanted to say was Tom Gormican's favorite version of so-called Nick Cage is the anxiety neurotic Nick Cage because it brings so many laughs. And I said, I'm not quite like that. At home, I have quiet moments with my cat reading books. He said, yeah, but that's not funny. And I said, okay. And then I said, but Tom, there's no muscle, no version in my body that doesn't want to see his children. And he said, yeah, but this character has to grow, has to evolve. We're making a movie, we're telling a story. So I said, that's okay, I get that. This is the fictional version of so-called Nick Cage. And what we have is a career-driven actor who ultimately evolves into a sensitive family man. Well, for me in my own life, family comes first. Where the character ends is where I begin. And I never really had a career. In my opinion, I only have work and I take my job seriously. I think it's when you start becoming overly career minded that we start getting into trouble and start getting too high on our own supply. And we start doing things like in the realm of diva and make mistakes. And that's a slippery slope. But that notwithstanding, there are similarities in the movie. I do like the humor in the movie. I do try to make my wife laugh with doing ridiculous facial expressions and behaving in very goofy ways, and also my boys. And so that the comedy in the movie is the comedy I embrace in
Awesome,
my own
awesome.
life.
Now, with the comedy, I mean, the one thing that stood out is your chemistry with Pedro. Can you tell me how it was working with him, and would you be up for working with him in the future?
Oh yeah, Pedro's beautiful in the movie. He's a great actor, but not only is he a great actor, he's it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. He's a really nice man. And I enjoyed working immensely with Pedro. And I think that enjoyment goes into the movie itself. He and I were both film enthusiasts and we would share ideas about movies and we would talk together about movies. And so it was kind of like no acting, please. We'd be off camera talking about movies. We'd be on camera talking about movies. It was very easy.